Agora TV. The world is thinking.
On Zuckerberg's Person of the Year account in Time magazine, I just looked it up. If you look at that, plus the runner-up, who was Assange, actually had more votes from the readers. These are two people who both talk about transparency. It runs through the articles totally. Assange is talking about transparency, greater transparency, not total, of the government. You'll never have a lot of transparency, but he wants more. Zuckerberg is in favor of voluntary transparency, no real limits. And he says he has a blind spot on privacy. And really, total transparency of the public is not impossible. Now, that article in Time started with this anecdote. They're sitting in their transparent cubicle, in their open space in Facebook, and who bursts in but one man? I thought I'd be the only man with a tie on tonight, but like Robert Mueller was the one man in the room with a tie on, and he was older in a suit, and he comes in and he says, I was just in the building and I wanted to say hello to Mark Zuckerberg. So he says hello to Mark Zuckerberg, a little chit-chat, and then he leaves, and everybody's saying, what the hell was that? Now, nobody asks the question, why was Mueller in the building? He's the head of the FBI. Who was he seeing in the building? To what effect? The question didn't seem to be asked, including in the transparent, but later in the article, which has some interesting questions in it, makes the following point. Google, Facebook, Twitter, but they're talking about Facebook, have an unparalleled database about the desires, the likes, the preferences, the values, everything else of people in the world, including the U.S., bigger than the FBI, they asserted. They said, Mueller is lusting after, is very anxious to get that, and will come with subpoenas. Have they come with a subpoena to Facebook? We know they have, in effect, to Twitter. Roy asked the question. You gave an answer. You think they have, in effect, or maybe more than a subpoena. Do they need a subpoena? How closely are they working? This transparency, which bonds us together and gives us all so many friends that we didn't know before, but all these friends that are connected, gives the state an absolutely unparalleled in the history of humanity ability to know what's going on in its citizens, to find out who the dissenters are within the government. A leak I would like to see is from NSA, inside. Absolutely opaque on this to Congress. How many congresspersons have you listened to in the last 10 years? How many sources? How many newsmen? We don't know anything of what NSA, they absolutely refuse to tell Congress. But it's not just NSA. The telephone companies were shielded. Now they're practically part of the government. Obama voted as a senator for immunity for the telephone companies from their dealings with the government. So they have this cloak of invisibility as government entities. Now, that's for telephones. How about, as you said, how about for Facebook, Google, Twitter? Put them all together. If they're all working together, their ability to manipulate us, to know this, is absolutely antithetical to democracy, and together they could form the United Stasi of America. And I don't want that, and I think the challenge you made was people in this audience have the ability to decide that they are ready to take a risk in their lives to fight to preserve democracy in this country and to preserve us from total transparency to our executive branch.